Welcome to the Resiliency of the Human Spirit podcast, where we share all about human triumphs for the collective's healing and empowerment. I am your host, Priscilla Hanley. My guest today is Girisha Andrea Steigler. Girisha Steigler is a certified sex, love, and relationship coach, a trauma healing and grief recovery specialist, as well as an orgasm coach. She is the founder of the Empress-O method. Through her Empress-O method, Girisha combines ancient traditions and methods from around the world with modern trauma healing and grief recovery, which has helped over 5,000 women worldwide. So without further ado, I will bring Girisha on right now. Hi, Girisha.
Hello. I'm so honored to be here, and thank you for your invitation, and thank you for this introduction.
Thank you. I know you are a very busy woman, so I have to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here today. So I am very interested in your journey because I've never met an orgasm coach. This is very new and interesting to me. So I will have you start by sharing your story and how everything started for you.
Yeah, sure. When I was a little girl, I was not imagining that this would be my mission in this life. And I'm from Hungary, so I grew up in a small town with a Christian family with a very serious and strict and aggressive father and a martyr mother. So this was my basis, and I was expected as a boy. So it was like in if someone is dealing with generational healing, that I had so much at the starting point. And I was regularly sick, and I also had an operation when I was 8. And then in my teenage years, I was also 2 years in hospital with different kind of things. And it was also, I had at that time, I was not aware, I also had near-death experiences in the hospital. First time I met with death. And then, as my parents were very protective because of these sicknesses, then of course in my teenage years I was not really good friends with boys. And partially I skipped 1 year in the secondary school. And somehow I felt that I was not so beautiful to be chosen. And just before I went to the high school, the not the university, but it was a college. And there was a situation in the evening when I was with a guy, and I was not aware. I didn't know how to, over kissing. I had no clue, and I was 19. So can you imagine that, I just turned into 50. And even when I was 19, I had just few kisses with boys.
Okay.
And it was I didn't know at that time what was it, but it was a not nice and not good experience for me. So it was an abuse. So later on, I realized that it was an abuse, and of course, I felt so much shame, and I didn't know how to share, because somehow I felt also responsible, because I just met with a stranger, and I found myself in a situation I couldn't run away. Because I didn't know where we went, and there were some kind of like sexual action, but somehow, I was also protected in a way, because I didn't let him to touch my body in a way I didn't want to. It was not a pleasant experience for me. And I just started to close myself more than I was. And in the college, I met with nice guys. And after a year, I also met with a guy. Finally, we spent 10 years together. He was my first love in this sense. And he helped me so much in my healing. And basically, I didn't feel that I had problem with orgasm, but when I found myself somehow in a tantric course, then I realized, and the master just started to show me the way that I have a lot of blockages around my body, around the openness of my body, around my intimacy. And he showed me through the exercises that I had so much more orgasmic capacity inside of me, what I could access to. And this was, my healing journey started in this way. And the other side of my story is that I started to take the contraception pills. And also I learned after that it fully blocked and disconnected from the senses of my body. I couldn't hear the messages of my body. I didn't feel at all my cycle. And also I started to become frigid. So therefore, this was one of the reasons this 10 years relationship was over, because that sexually open and really open and attractive woman who really loved the sex, then I became very frigid. And I was young, it happened in my 20s. So my deep healing journey started when I was in my 30s. And as my friends started to realize, oh my God, Andrea, you changed so much. And then what happened with you? And then they also wanted that. So when I was sharing my story, they also wanted. So therefore, I started to also learn more, and how I could teach, how I could share these exercises, how I could share my story more, and also teaching all of this to women, because we have a lot of taboos around our feminine sexuality and intimacy. And that's why I'm here, and that's how I became orgasm coach, because I also feel that everyone is, when someone is hearing, then what's this? So first it's like, could I hear well what you are talking about? And then they started to be very interested in that, as you are also shared that you the first time you met with an orgasm coach. And that's why I'm here, to share more. And I also feel that I'm representing a path which is very gentle, loving, holding, caring. And one of my strengths, I think that I can be present with my clients. And this presence, most of the time, they have never experienced before.
So you mentioned you ended up in a tantric class.
Yeah.
What was going on within you that led you to a tantric class?
I tried to recall several times, through who suggested, where I found some, I don't know, it was meant to be, like it was meant to be, I needed to be here. And I didn't know anyone. And then it was very funny, because the master from Thailand was just kind of like two corners from my home. So he came to Hungary. And it was like, and then I started to also travel, and I took so many sacred sexual trainings and courses and teachers trainings and different kind of massages. Then, it's like every time I try to answer properly for this question, I cannot recall exactly, but this is the way when we so many times we are scared we are missing something, or we are scared to make a decision whether this way or that way. And several times, and even every single day, I'm experiencing that we cannot make any mistakes, and if we need to be there, we will be. Yes. And we are always in the perfect time in the perfect place with the perfect persons.
Yes, I resonate with that very much. So in your bio, you said that you combine ancient traditions and methods from around the world with modern trauma healing and grief recovery. I'm curious, can you give me like a couple ancient traditions and methods that you learned?
Yes, absolutely. So I studied in all kinds of paths of tantra, which is absolutely ancient. And I also traveled and lived different countries all around the world, just to connect with the land. Also, for example, Egypt. In Egypt, there was also a really deep and healing sexuality and sacred sexuality healing, and also, the priestesses were the initiators to sexuality and intimacy. So, for example, I also lived in Egypt, and I connected with these ancient traditions. And also, I studied so much, and I'm still studying in Taoism, which is also the ancient Chinese traditions in sexuality, sacred sexuality. Mantak Chia is one of the main representative of this lineage. And also, so this is mainly sexuality, and the different kind of tantra paths where I studied in the last 20 years. And regarding trauma healing, I had an opportunity to study with the big names, even Gabor Mate. He's also Hungarian, so I could study with him personally, and also other main teachers from all around the world. Yeah.
What you talked about, like you were going to Egypt and you lived there and you learned sexuality, and I guess there's evidence that the priestesses were initiators for the maybe sexual rituals in Egypt. So it sounds like sexuality has been around for many, many years during ancient times, right? And I think during those times, they viewed sexuality as very sacred. However, in today's times, we have put a different meaning on sexuality. And so I want to ask you, what are some suggestions or recommendations that you can share to help us to get back to the true meaning of sexuality, which is actually connection between two people, sexuality, very deep connection between two people. So yeah, if you could just share a couple techniques on how we can get back to the true meaning of sexuality.
Yeah, and I would like to also a little bit open up sexuality towards intimacy, because I feel that sexuality could start with a deep intimacy. And the true sexuality, and of course, there are different point of views and then there are a very opposite ones. So I'm just sharing my experience and my point of view. And of course, I can absolutely open and I can accept if someone is thinking about in different ways. But this is my experience through trauma healing. Because, and as you just mentioned, that sexuality started to be very physical, in generally, let's say generally, and of course there are always exceptions.
Right.
So, and focusing on basically the definition, and that we don't have exact definition for that, but creating new lives. So kind of like focusing on that two cells are kind of like unifying and then creating a new life.
Yes.
And but we can also, and then I'm not talking about the new ways of how the interceptions and everything, so the new ways of creating lives, but and also you mentioned that two people are getting together in a sexual union, and as our lives started to be very busy and fast, then we started to do also the sexual actions very fast. And we lost to create sacred space, giving time to each other and to ourselves. So we lost the really deep intimacy. Intimacy in the meaning that I'm feeling safe to be naked in all level, because most of the time we can take off our clothes and it's easier. It's much easier than opening up with our emotions, opening up what I really need, what is my desire, what is my true desire. As we are disconnected from our body, then most of the time we cannot say what I need. And women are expecting men to find a way how they made them feel in pleasure. And around pleasure, there are also a lot of taboos, shame, guilt, and so to our body as well. So the first thing, we can start with ourselves, and even not thinking about how I'm connecting with my partner. And then I also made a few years ago a survey, and I was asking, one of the first questions was that, how is your sexual life? And the women said that, zero. I don't have sexual life because I'm single. And then it made me thinking that, okay, so the sexual life or sexuality equal that I'm in relationship.
Right, right.
And this is also a misconception, because I can have sexual life if I'm alone. Because if I don't know what makes me feel good without discovering myself, I would really surprise. So, and then if we are just looking back and then how we started our life, we started to discover ourselves. And also we could have a positive or negative experiences with that. But somehow, I always suggest to start to rediscover ourselves, connecting and reconnecting with our body, and really discover, like curiously, the girl, that what is there. If I'm touching myself, how does it feel? If I'm slowing my movement, how does it feel? Because the more I can be present with myself, the more I can hear what my body needs.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I think it's really missing in our society. So this is what we need to retrain to ourselves. And just before we are going in a intimate connection with a partner. And of course, if anyone is in a relationship, then you can also do this, that you can create a safe space for yourself and create a little time for yourself, just self-discovery, looking at the mirror and focusing on what you like, what you love about yourself. And because in the morning, I give this example. In the morning, I'm looking at the mirror and I'm looking for the mistakes, that the wrinkles and everything, what I don't like. And then how about if we turn around and then looking for what I like, what I love about myself, and what kind of touch I like, what kind of fragrances I like. If I'm in in an intimate connection, I can create a beautiful lights,
Mm-hmm.
a candle, or also the fragrances, and also some from that opening up our senses brings also very special moments. And then slowing down, this could be also key. Slowing down helps you to come back to your body and also sensing more what's going on. And also in sexuality, and also with my clients, what I'm experiencing, that most of the time, this is one that we don't know what do we need, what are true desires. Of course, we have fantasies, but most of the time I also played with this. Most of the time it's just in the mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we could be in the situation, any kind of, it could be a kind of like general or not very edgy fantasies. But when you could be in a real situation that you realize that your body is not needed. Sometimes, yes, of course, but the more you are in your mind, the more you are focusing on that, what is missing, what I haven't reached yet, what I haven't received yet,
Mm-hmm.
the more you will disconnect from your body and your real needs and desires. So I think this is one of my key message, that start to discover yourself with curiosity. And in this way, you can see much more beauty and also sensuality. And you can also have you realize you have much more power you could imagine. Then just a little bit more the intimacy. So if I start to discover more my body, then I can set my boundaries easier, and I can say no easier. And when I'm in my connection or any kind of connection, intimate connection with a partner, then I can tell on a way, which kind of like loving and kind way, that not like, don't do this, not,
Yeah.
I don't like. So it's something, of course, then my partner would be also kind of like shocking or freezing. But then, if you touch me in this way, I would love to do that. I would love you to do that. And so it's like, if you are just encouraging your partner what you would like to, they would love it to hear, because our partners always want us to be in pleasure. But if I don't know how I can have pleasure, or I cannot allow to, and then I don't have the access to pleasure, then my partner couldn't do that for me.
Right. I like that. So it seems that what you're saying is that it all starts with us, and it's really an expression of self-love first, right? Before you can express it to somebody else.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay. So what would you tell, say you have a woman who has 3 children and she's crazy every day, she's busy. And what would you tell her? She's saying, Girisha, I don't have time to connect with myself. So what would you say to somebody like that?
Yeah. So I can also say that if she is alone or if she is in a partnership. So if she's alone, definitely I would suggest to do some self-love exercises with the kids first. And then in this case, she also needs to do that. And then if I need to teach someone something to my kids, definitely I will prepare myself a little bit. So
Right.
this could be an encouragement to create a little time. So, and then self-love is like, that what do you love in yourself, what you like on your hand, or your face, on your body. So this is very simple. And then kids could start to learn that, yeah, I can love myself. And most of the time they love themselves. And then it also kind of like helping to the mother as well to see much more beauty in herself. And the other thing is that usually we don't have it. Most of the time we cannot create 2-3 hours within a day.
Right.
But I'm also very busy, so I have 2-3 hours for myself, but not in one kind of like in one scheduling, but in 5 minutes in the morning, a little 5 minutes in the breaks, a little 5 minutes. And then I'm always doing what makes me feel good, and always finding the good feeling, the happiness, what makes you smile. And just touching yourself a little bit, slowing your movement in very simple things, in the rushing morning, even in the rushing morning, just for half a minute. If you are just slowing down, then you can reconnect with yourself deeper. And also focusing on your breath, just slowing down your breath a little bit, and then you feel much more relaxed. But if you are hurry in the morning, most of the time you forget about something, or some small accidents could happen. But if you just remind yourself and be aware that, okay, just slowing down, okay, what do I need not to forget, what should I bring with me, asking yourself, connecting with yourself, talking to yourself, it's like it's very, very nice. And then you need to have time for yourself, because your kids are very sensitive, and they will absolutely feel the differentiation when you are relaxed, when you are recharged, when you are happy. And they will be much more cooperative if you are, than when you are very very tired or nervous or under stress. So definitely I suggest all the time to find at least once a week a little few hours break when someone takes care of the kids. And just find going to the bath, going to sauna, just go for a walk when she could be just with herself.
Mm-hmm.
And then if she is with a partner, then weekly date nights. So finding time, because for the long-term relationship, and I could also give so many practical tips, that most of the time the relationships started to be, and the partner started to be, create distance because they don't have common and quality time together.
Right.
And somehow they need to find time for themselves together, when they can talk, when they can be intimate, when there is not in the focus that whether the kids could open the door. And find that you are, as a partner, and then the couple, you are much more important and worthy to create quality time for yourself.
So I just want to ask you, you say it's important for us to connect with our body, and I agree totally. So what advice would you give to people who have gone through trauma or who have had their bodies been violated? How can these people feel safe in their body again?
The question I really love, because all of the time, this is the first thing I start with, when I'm starting to work with someone, this is the first thing, because when we realize any traumas, violence, or abuse, we lost the safety. And what I'm also experiencing, that most of the time, we don't know what safety means to us, safety in the body. And if I'm just asking our listeners that what safety means to you, how you can define yourself safety in your everyday life, what gives you safety? And I have never received the answer that safe in my body.
Mm.
Because usually we are putting safety outside, like I have a family, I have home, I have a job, I have money, I have this and that, but mostly physical or personal, and putting outside of ourselves. And we can connect. If we have it, we are okay. If we don't have it, we are not okay.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, we need to find some inner resource when we can connect and reconnect anytime. Whatever is happening in an outer world, we can reconnect inside. So that's how I feel that safety is really, really important, because we need to redefine our safety. And of course, we are living in a material, of course, we can have it, but this is something very different and much deeper. And just one more thought coming back to, because it's also connected with this, that we are expecting to be loved, to be heard, to have pleasure, or our partner makes us pleasure. We are expecting from outside. And this is also parallel, that if I'm expecting from outside, then if I have it, I'm okay. If not, then I'm not okay. And most of the time I'm asking that what you are expecting from outside, from your partner, can you give it to yourself? Of course, not on the same way, but if you can give yourself the same, that, for example, my partner gives me safety, and alone I cannot feel safe. So there is a missing, and always I want to a kind of like, this is the possessivity or attachment could be created. And that's why it's very important to, of course, it's amazing if I have an amazing partner who could support me and hold me and love me. But this is something different when I'm not attached to it. Whether I have it, I'm okay. If I don't have, then I'm not okay. Or it's not, I cannot be created a possessivity with my partner, because this leads to an unhealthy and imbalanced relationship. So for a long-term relationship with ourselves and with others, that I think one of the key that I'm as a whole, I'm okay. And I'm so happy in the connection, but
Mhm.
I'm not attached, and I'm not depending on my mood. My life is not depending on fully on the others. And I think this is one of the main challenge in our life. But it also started with us, and finding the way how we can navigate our life towards ourselves.
Yes, this is very true what you talked about, that we have lost the connection to ourselves. At least a lot of people have, because of the chaotic lifestyle that we live every day. But yeah, I think the energies of these times are really urging us to go within, at least make a few minutes every day to go within and find our center. With the chaos that's happening all around the world, if we don't check in with ourselves and find our center, we will get lost in the chaos.
Absolutely. And just with scheduling these 5 minutes, I'm sure that you have a lot of scheduled time in your calendar with others. And
Yes.
how about with yourself?
Yes,
So
I
you
like
can
that.
also make schedules for yourself, and you can give any kind of titles, that which makes you happy when, and you are just, I cannot wait to have my time with myself. And
Yeah.
I also, in my calendar, there are kind of like different color coded. And then I give green to the time when I'm spending myself. And then when I started to do this, and more time I have for myself, and it's not just when I'm alone, just it's also when it makes me feel happy. And then if you just when I'm looking at the calendar, like for a week calendar, that, oh my gosh, I'm so happy that I have a lot of time for myself, and this makes me happy. I feel much better. And even I don't like works or tasks, it's much easier to do.
Yeah. Because you need time for yourself to recharge so that you can then take care of the tasks that you have to do every day.
Nobody else will charge you, and that you should be the most important person for yourself, because for your partner you wouldn't be the most important person at all, even you are in his focus. But if you don't feel that worthiness, that you deserve to be the first one and not the last one on the list, then you couldn't be the first one in your partner, because even you feel that your partner is really taking care of you, and he loves you. But if you feel that you are on your own list, you are the last one because you put everybody in front of you, that it's a kind of like mind trick, that you cannot be also on the first one on your partner's list.
Mhm. I would like to shift now to your business. So, okay, you are the founder of the Empress-O method. What
Yes.
is the Empress-O method?
Yeah, it's a holistic program, kind of like method. What I'm created from this, I've studied different hundreds of different methods, as you mentioned, in the ancient one and the modern one, and I'm combine them, and I'm working on holistically in all level. And what I'm experienced that, in the mind and also in emotions, we could reach somehow under the unconscious for a little bit. So the mind, there are a lot of methods working with the mind, from the psychotherapy to the different kind of relaxation and different kind of methods. And then we can go deeper, because this is just like in the head, 5 to 7%, and then
Oh.
everything is blueprinted in our body.
Mm.
And we want, in order to have the transformation, because for example, I'm a person, I'm really busy woman, and I don't have time for myself. And it could come from that my mom was working hard. My father expected a hard work from me, and I couldn't be never enough good for him. So therefore, my pattern is I need to work hard. But somehow, I need time for myself. And I know in my mind that I need time for myself, but this pattern is much deeper and stronger. So I need to go deeper. And then working with the body memory and the blueprints, this could help us to really transform these old patterns and liberate ourselves on all levels and create some new patterns, new automatism, what was instead of the previous one. So my holistic method is all about that I'm customized to all, everyone, because I know that we all unique. We have a different history. We have a different mission, and then combining all of this. So I have a kind of like a buffet menu. And then everyone could find these bites which could fit their own behavior, schedule, and also that I don't like that this is the task, this is the exercise, this is a ritual which is ultimately will change your life. Maybe it was working for me,
Right.
but maybe you don't like it at all. So in this case, we are always finding the way how to customize the best practices, because the key is to practice, to do it. And if you don't like it because it's a must, most probably you will do it because you want to be a good girl for a few days, but after that you won't do it. So my intention is to really practice, to really do, because I know that this is, makes us master of ourselves.
And before we got on, we talked about your 7-hour trauma healing massage. Wow. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so basically I'm working online. So internationally, I'm working online in the coaching, but in the coaching, I'm also using this holistic method. And I've created a special trauma healing massage, which is, I kind of like 15 years ago, I started with one and a half hours massage. And you don't imagine like a tantric massage with a full body massage or any kind of massage for 7 hours. No, it's not like that. It's a very complex program. It's like a VIP day by now. When first I'm listening the story, what is in your mind, what you've already worked on, where you are right now, so where you came from and where you are right now. In this case, your mind is relaxing that, okay, I was hurt. And then we can start the real work through the body memory. And I'm looking for different points in the body where these memories, these blueprinted memories, are kind of like located. And with this, more hundreds methods, what I've studied and I'm using, then I'm picking all the time the perfect one, how we can transform these blueprints, these memories, and to the new ones. So kind of like the old patterns, we are transforming, turning to the new one, and start to teach to the body the new one, and with different kind of exercises. So it's a kind of like very active program. And of course, combining with a massage, because I'm also touching the body. I'm also working in the energetic field, and it depending on the topic. But most of the time, if the trauma happened for a woman in the yoni, or there were losses, or for example, there is infertility issues or different kind of feminine problems like endometriosis or cancer or vaginism or vulvodynia, or any body shame issues, or for men, the premature ejaculation or prostate problems or orgasm problems, because that for men also the ejaculation is not equal to orgasm most of the time, that they feel that this is the only one. And then men could be also able to have much more different kind of orgasm, not just women. So in this case, I'm also with women, I'm working with the vagina also, like I could connect kind of like if yoni massage, but totally different one. We are also looking for the spots where these traumas or abuse or the old patterns or
Right.
generational patterns are located, and
Mm-hmm.
then we are liberating with different kind of techniques. And I'm also working with men in the anus. So because in the prostate and also in the anus, they put a lot of stress, and all the stress they put there. Therefore, they have the blockages there in the, let's say, in the root chakra and in their anus. And then we can also liberate and release the blockages from there.
Wow, very interesting work. So how do people get in touch with you if they want to work with you?
Yeah, basically I'm traveling, and also I'm traveling, so I'm always sharing where I'm at, and then I'm going to the US in summertime. So I already have some kind of like appointments that they also want this massage, because this is the only one I can do in person.
Mm-hmm.
And but I also, I was invited to travel somewhere, and then we can also do the in-person VIP days or VIP weekend. Or my other clients are just, I always have clients from abroad. When I in the last few years I was in Hungary mainly, so I had a lot of clients from abroad as well.
Okay, I will put your contact details in the show notes with your website and your socials. And so I understand you have a special gift for our audience today.
Yes,
Wonderful.
absolutely. I have more, because I really want to see much more people, especially this year, because this year is so special. We can have amazing opportunities to really let go and then put down this heaviness and the
Right.
blockages. So I really want to help in any way how women or men could connect to me. So basically, I have a video series how you can feel safe again. And you can have also practices and tools. And then if you have any questions, then you can connect to me. And the other one is I've created a playbook. This is for women. That
Nice.
it's a year of discovered pleasures playbook, where I can share different kind of rituals. For example, for the moon ritual list, and then you can see my suggestions that how you can do, for example, moon bathing or journaling, and also artwork, whatever, that what I
Mm-hmm.
just mentioned is the buffet menu.
Right, right.
And then you can create your own manual or ritual list, and you can also create your this is the monthly
Right. Planner.
planner, and also you can create a weekly planner
Nice.
for yourself. So this could also help to create and schedule for yourself, and take time a little bit thinking about what makes you feel better, and how you can recharge yourself. And then there are a lot of ideas, and then you can also pick whatever you like.
Nice. I'll put that in the show notes too.
Yeah.
So,
And then I
go
have
ahead.
one more. Yes, I
Okay, go
have one
ahead.
more, especially for our listeners, that I would like to also offer a free pleasure blueprint road mapping session for 30 minutes. And then if you have any question, either you watch the video series or you have this playbook, and or just book a call with me if you feel so, and feel the call, and we can just have a little conversation, and you can share the current situation, the challenges, and I would like to help you in the next step. So we can also go a little short coaching session, and then I can give you also that how you can go with the next step.
Wow, wonderful. 3 different gifts. Thank you for your generosity to our audience. So appreciated. So we have a couple minutes left, and I have a signature closing question here that I ask all my guests. What is your closing message for humanity to help in our collective healing and empowerment?
Always finding the love, every single moment where there is love and happiness. And this could be your guidance. This could be your navigation. Where there is love and happiness, this could be the best way to find the true meaning of your life.
It all starts with us, right?
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much, Girisha, for taking the time to spend with us today and for your knowledge and your wisdom and your kindness in the special gifts for our audience. I'm so grateful that you're here today. To our audience, thank you for watching and listening. Thank you for your time. And until next time, bye for now.